Good morning. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith at the National Weather Service in Pocatello, and this is your weather hazard briefing for Southeast Idaho for Sunday, February 27th. So weather-wise, got some trends to talk about here. First, strong warming trend, that one hasn't changed, begins today, potentially peaking in the 40s and even 50s for temperatures by Wednesday. It is going to feel very different than the very cold temperatures and cold wind chills that we've been experiencing for several days now. It's still cold this morning. I'll show you morning temperatures here in just a moment, but that trend is moving into the region. Little bit of a change, not really a change, but a little bit of a change in our expectations for this week forecast-wise. Outside of that warming trend, we're watching and waiting for moisture. We know where the moisture is. There is a great feed of moisture I'm going to show you on satellite here coming off the Pacific that's affecting portions of the Pacific Northwest, but when is some of it going to get here? When are we actually going to see some snow out of it? And in that sense, the forecast has actually trended a bit drier. So we're going to jump right into the satellite first because I can almost brief the rest of your weather off of this image here for the next few days. A few features to point out here. First, we do have still a weak ridge of high pressure that's going to sit across the western United States for most of the week. Now, normally when you hear high pressure, you think, quieter weather, sunnier weather, warmer weather. Kind of. It's not that strong. It's kind of a broad, modest ridge of high pressure. It's enough to block storm systems from coming directly in off the ocean and really giving us organized periods of precipitation. It's also going to steer things a little bit. So as we proceed forward here, we have low pressure that is approaching the western coast of Canada. There's actually a couple of them here. If you see, there's a little bit of spin in the cloud cover loop and the water vapor loop here, right in here. Just a little bit of a spin, and there's another area of spin almost directly under the low pressure symbol I've placed on the map here. So a couple features. But this general area of low pressure approaching Canada is going to stay up here again for the next several days, just like the high is. So the steering flows of these two features are going to be very important. And what we're expecting is an atmospheric river of moisture coming eastward toward the west coast. It's then going to ride in the flow between the high and the low. So we have a southerly flow on the west side of the high. We also have a southerly flow on the east side of the area of low pressure. That's going to bring that moisture toward the coast. It's going to lift it to the northeast up across portions of particularly Washington and southwestern Canada. It's going to bathe this region in moisture. We're going to see lots of rain and snow here over the next few days up in that region. So the question for us here in Southeast Idaho is how much of this moisture can ride up over the ridge and be pulled up ahead of the low and then spill over that ridge either into our area or try to target at least our central mountains with some precipitation. And right now, seeing a little bit of a trend in the model guidance toward not much of that happening. This best moisture feed in between these two systems is going to remain up to our north, particularly across Washington. This atmospheric river eventually getting into portions of the Idaho Panhandle. But right now, we don't have a lot of guidance that really is bringing that moisture feed further south, even into our central mountain region. So for Monday, going into Tuesday, going into Wednesday at least, it's all about what can we squeeze out of this? What can we bring over the ridge? How far south can we bring that better feed of moisture? And it's not looking very promising at this time. By the time we get out toward the end of the week, Thursday, Friday time frame, start to pay attention. It looks like this trough of low pressure in a more organized manner will finally push eastward and finally come inland and bring a better chance of rain and snow to the region. So stay tuned for more on that. What does that all look like broken down in the weather risk outlook here? Well, you see a lot more green. If you do watch our briefings every morning, we have been removing some of that rain and snow shower activity. So going forward today, maybe a few light snow showers up near Stanley, maybe into Lemhi County, particularly this afternoon and this evening, not going to amount to much. Monday, maybe a few more light snow showers down into the northeastern highlands, at least, particularly the Island Park and Yellowstone region, possibly into the Lost River area, and again, up in the Sawtooth and Lemhi areas. Into Tuesday, expand just a little bit more. You see a lot of question marks here. a lot of lack of confidence in how much of that moisture is going to be able to make it down into these zones that are part of our forecast area. We're also holding with minor as far as your risk level, and that's due to two things. One, that's due to low confidence on exactly how many areas are actually going to rain and snow. But two, if it does rain and snow, we're also not expecting significant accumulations, and that's going to keep the impacts quite limited. So proceeding along here, Tuesday, a little bit better chance of some rain and snow showers over a little bit wider area, but we're keeping much of the lower elevations dry, including the Snake Plain and Eastern Magic Valley. Warmer region wide. Here's that warming trend really showing its true colors by Tuesday. We'll check those numbers here in a moment. Identical setup for Wednesday, but even a little warmer as that warming trend continues. By Thursday, we're holding on to those question marks. It may even be Friday, based on the latest guidance, that we're expecting the best chance for more widespread rain and snow as that trough finally comes inland. But at least some chance of rain and snow shower activity by Thursday, and we're going to back off just a little bit on those temperatures and probably put an end to the organized warming trend by the time we get into Thursday. Okay, as you might expect, under this general pattern, no watches, warnings, or advisories are in effect for our southeast Idaho forecast area, as it will be relatively low impact for a good chunk of the week, as we just saw. Here's our expected snowfall amounts, particularly from Monday afternoon into Tuesday afternoon. Again, we're in that pattern. We're in that period where we're just seeing what we can spill over into the mountains, or how much of that moisture feed to our north we can bring far enough south to give us anything. Most of the region not seeing much in the way of impacts. The Island Park, West Yellowstone region, maybe a dusting. You may be able to squeak out an inch or two at some of the higher elevations of the Central Mountains, particularly in the Sawtooths and up toward Banner Summit. But that's about it for our latest snowfall expectations, at least through this graphic. Low temperatures this morning are still quite cold. We've been clear for a good chunk of the night. We do have higher level clouds starting to stream in ahead of all of this stuff we just talked about. Not very impactful. It may start to hold temperatures just a little bit warmer, but with fresh snowpack on the ground, not a lot of fog or low stratus out there. Some clear skies. We saw really efficient radiational cooling this morning, so temperatures still checking in below zero for many locations, particularly as you head north up the Snake Plain. So do bundle up as you head out this morning. Here's a look at those temperatures trending from today on the left into Monday on the right. Definitely starting to feel a little bit better even today, where readings may approach freezing for places like Stanley and Chalice, also from the Eastern Magic Valley to Pocatello. A little bit warmer here on Monday with 30s and 40s region wide. Stepping into Tuesday, Wednesday, that trend continues. We have 50 still in the forecast for Twin Falls and Burley and Chalice. For Tuesday, getting into the 40s for many other locations across southeast Idaho. And finally, our warmest day, Wednesday, here on the right. 50, still our official forecast for Pocatello. 55 or so, still our official forecast out toward Twin Falls, Oakley, and Burley. Chalice and Salmon possibly exceeding 50 degrees as well. So a little taste of spring. Also a little bit of snow melt associated with that, which is not really going to help our drought. We want to hold on to that higher elevation snowpack as long as we can, and hopefully build it up if we can get another organized system moving into our region. So there we have it. Warming trend being the big news for the next few days. Not so much on the snowfall front. We're waiting for later in the week. If you have questions, comments, concerns for us, we're always here. Feel free to reach out, and everybody have a wonderful Sunday.